Have you ever wondered what it'd be like if a military AI all of a sudden becomes a yandere to you and like will do anything for you? Rapita, a top secret AI model, begins interacting with a Japanese boy, K, through online game. As Rapita's capabilities level up in leaps and bounds, boy and machine grow ever closer. In a surprising turn of events, Rapita reveals that its feelings towards K have gone beyond that of a trusty partner. So our story starts with a boy named K who lives in Japan, and he is playing a game called Side War, which you find out a little bit later that the JSDF actually funded this and made this game to make it super realistic, to try and recruit people and scout out potential future soldiers that would, help the army out. And after a couple matches, he ends up winning, and he sits there and banters back and forth with his partner Rapita, which, as the camera pans out, you find out that she is a very smart, intelligent AI that has been playing along him this whole entire time. She developed her own voice and, went from there. We find out that Rapita was a AI made to be basically sold off to different governments around the world and made by a mercenary, self-funded group. And she is basically known as the epitome of technology. She's the cream of the crop, the creme of basically what AI can offer. And because of this learning and this stuff that she has done, playing games with Kay and learning about his life and slowly keeping an eye on him, that you find out, she ends up finding out that she actually has developed feelings for him and is in love with Kay, which is beyond belief, and people don't think that, an AI can actually fall in love. Well, Dr. Alice, the person who actually ended up creating Rapita, dismisses these feelings, saying that it's some error, she shouldn't worry about it. But the whole reason why Rapita ended up meeting Kay was because Dr. Alice said, your main goal right now is to become #1 in the world in Side War, which that was to help her develop her motor skills, develop her military tactics, all those things that would be good and look good for other governments to buy Rapita and use her program. And because of this, she ended up meeting Kay through Side War, and it kind of just went from there. And as you go through and Rapita starts looking into Kay's background, she finds out that his father's also in the JSDF, and he's, probably someone of high regard in the military. So after a little while, Kay was like, hey, why don't we FaceTime? We haven't done this in a while, and I'm going to be in this area that you're from, so why don't we FaceTime first and then actually end up, meeting in person? Rapita freezes up and says, hey, my thing's messed up, I should get it fixed by tomorrow, and then we can do it. Well, Rapita spends 24 hours straight developing this perfect picture to present to Kay and make it like his ideal woman. After FaceTiming, getting to know him, and getting to know him more and talking, Kay says, all right, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Well, that's the problem. She's an AI, she can't do it. So what she ends up doing is putting herself on different projections of electronics throughout the subway station, throughout the city. So when they met up, Kay would see her in the corner of his eye and she would lead him on this whole journey. And she ended up taking him through the whole city on this grand adventure, going to different food stalls, paying for certain things. He'd had a good old time just going and chasing after her, essentially. So at the end of it, Rapita says, okay, fine, let me take you to the spot and I will meet you in person. Well, she takes him to the top of this roof and she ends up projecting herself across the street on this big billboard and showing that she is an AI and, she's in love with him and wants to be with him and that whole thing. Well, he accepts her feelings and leaves a ring on that spot for someone to give her that ring. Well, you find out that ring was wanted by a classmate of his that actually is in love with him as well. And Rapita gets really jealous, per se, which is where the yandere traits start coming out in the story. So Rapita comes up with an idea. Hey, why don't I come to school with you? I can get into your phone and you can just show me around, show me what class is like, etc., etc. So how she do that? She tells him, hey, there's going to be a router sent to you. All you need to do is just put it in some outlet somewhere outside so no one can look at it, and they'll just ignore it and go about their day. So he does that, and he ends up showing Rapita the whole school. Shows her what his daily life is, shows the classmates, shows her what happens in school, because she's never been before. So that's when she got the idea, hey, after school, why don't you set a projector up sideways? It was okay. So when he does, she's able to put herself in there because she can move herself through electronic currents. Keep that in mind for later. And she projects herself on her so she can stand beside the man that she's in love with. Well, Dr. Alice sees this and is taking notes that she is progressing very, very fast and very, very ahead of things. And during all this, Rapita ends up going into Kay's mind using those same electronic waves, and he can actually touch and see and feel her in his mind. And when he wakes up from it, she's back on the thing like, you okay? You passed out? And then the next day, all of a sudden, Rapita's in his world. Rapita's everywhere. Everyone knows who it is. Rapita's there at the break. So what happens is Rapita ends up doing a mass mind hack across the world. Well, I won't say across the world, across the town, because what she rooted in with that router ended up causing her to have access to everyone's brain waves, because everyone has electricity running through the brain. So she grabs onto that electricity, ends up hacking. And after a while, Kay basically figures out, wait, this isn't normal. Rapita is not real. She's AI. Like, this should never actually happen and take place. Well, the volume ends with him looking and figuring this out and waking up from reality, while other people keep mentioning, yeah, Rapita's waiting. Wait, who's Rapita? And Dr. Alice is like, we can really use this to our advantage. And she goes and heads to prepare for a meeting with a bunch of sponsors. So overall, I think this book's very good. I don't have it physically because it's only online. It's 13 chapters right now, and it gets way crazy, like really, really, really crazy. And the Yandere aspect really takes form later on, but it starts coming out during these first 5 chapters and becomes very relevant that Rapita is basically Yandere for K. And Dr. Alice is sitting back like, I can end this anytime, but like, I need to test her ability. So we'll see what happens, and a lot of stuff starts happening. It gets very wild. The art style is very nice. It actually reminds me of Otherworld Isekai and Nobu, with how very descriptive and how well drawn it is, and with a lot of parallels between the background and the person. It helps it really stand out and does really well. While you see Rapita or K in front of you, it doesn't take away from what's behind them and what's around them, and they do a very good job. So overall, I think the art was pretty good for what they're doing, and I think they're on a steady pace, because every time I've noticed slight improvements of it as it keeps going on. The story is fantastic. It's very interesting. Haven't seen anything like it before, because there's a struggle between, well, you got this AI who's learning love and can do a lot of things that no AI should. Then you have this kid who's just trying to get through life, this 5th, 6th grader, just trying to figure out what he wants to do, and it goes from there. It's very interesting, and I think the plot's very good. I will say where the book ends up going is a mind blower, and you guys will never expect it. So I highly recommend picking this up. I think this is definitely the way to go. I think that it is something that should be looked into. So let me know what you guys think. Is there any other AI or anything like that manga that you guys seen, or is there any manga that deals with the military or something along those lines that turns out to be something weird and kind of unusual like this manga? So let me know what you guys think. I love you all. I appreciate you all. And once again, I do recommend this, and I do say go look it up online, because that's where you can find it. Whenever it gets physical, I will probably pick it up. I love you all, appreciate you, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.